This uterus is doing absolutely nothing for you. It is labor that goes nowhere. Today, we're going to talk about prodromal labor, how you can avoid it, and what to expect if it's happening to you, and what to do if you find out that it's happening. Now, a lot of people just really don't understand prodromal labor, so you want to make sure that you learn from an expert. Hello, I'm Hilary. I'm the pregnancy nurse. I've been a nurse since 1997. I have 20 years of labor and delivery experience, and I am here to get you prepared, not scared, for your upcoming hospital birth. And likely, if you're thinking about prodromal labor, you're in your third trimester, and I have a great third trimester prep pack that you can get. I will put the link down below. Okay, so what is prodromal labor? I see a lot of people saying it's the same as false labor. Maybe it is. I think prodromal labor tends to last a little longer than just contractions you might have every once in a while. By the way, contractions every once in a while, totally normal, totally makes sense for your uterus to contract now and then. However, prodromal labor is where you contract for a decent period of time and then they sort of peter out, they space out, they go away. And ultimately, those contractions don't really open up your cervix. Now, I'm here to tell you the good news that they might be softening your cervix, which is a really good thing because you want your cervix to be soft before you hit it with the larger contractions to help it open up. Some people call that cervical ripening. I am also here to tell you that it is wildly annoying. I 100% get that. I went 12 days over with my last baby and I had prodromal labor every night. I like to compare it as like a false start. You're at the line, you're ready to go, you're ready to have this baby, and you start having these contractions, you're like, sweet, sweet, cool, cool. I had 2 kids at home that I needed to find help for because my parents didn't live in town. And so every night I'd be like, do we call them? Do we not call them? And then they would peter out. And every night I felt like I had that false start and I thought, when are we going to call off this race? Fun fact, I ultimately ended up getting induced. I don't know if my body ever would have gone into labor on its own. I had a few risk factors. 12 days over was plenty of time. I decided with my provider, because no one ever forces you to have an induction, that it was time for me to get induced. And I do think that a lot of times it's this prodromal labor that happens every day that ultimately leads people to be like, let's just start the race. I'm tired of this. The good news is when I had all that prodromal labor, my cervix was very dilated. I think I was like 5 centimeters when I went in. I just wasn't having consistent, strong contractions that would get the baby out, and I need a little Pitocin to get her out. I also want to give you this pro tip. This is not unusual. I think we go into it thinking the race is just going to start. We're not going to have all these false starts. Guys, this isn't the Olympics. Think of it as junior high track team where there are plenty of false starts. There's just going to be a lot of times where you're like, is this labor? Is it not? No, it's not. Next day. Is this labor? Is it not? And so you just need to expect it. Don't be mad about it. But I am here to say it is wildly annoying and I get it. Okay, here's the big question. Can you avoid your uterus doing all these things that ultimately don't put you into labor? Because I am also here to say that prodromal labor can hurt quite a bit. It can be very annoying. It can keep you from sleeping. And I think sometimes when we say false labor, we get in our mind that it isn't that painful, but these can be pretty darn painful and very annoying. So if we can avoid it, I'm here for it. The number one thing you can do is to stay hydrated. A lot of times these types of contractions, which a lot of times in the labor land, we call it irritability. And I'm sure you can imagine that you are a little bit irritable and your uterus gets irritable too when it gets dehydrated. So you want to make sure that you're drinking lots and lots of water so that your uterus stays happy and doesn't get irritable and contract for absolutely no reason. So for me, I tried to get all my water intake kind of before dinner so I wouldn't be up all night peeing. But a lot of times I had this prodromal labor at night and I would drink a big glass of water just to make sure that that wasn't my issue. I would rather be not in pain and have to get up and pee versus just in pain for no reason and likely have to get up and pee, let's be honest. My other pro tip is to sort of ignore it. Do whatever you can to treat the symptoms. A lot of times people like to use heating pads. Again, never a heating pad directly over your belly, but you can use it on your side. You can use it on your back. A warm bath, not a hot bath. And sometimes light stretching. I'm a big fan of rotating those hips on the labor ball can really help relax things. So the more you can ignore it, I think the better off you are. I think one of the big traps you're going to get into is you're like, I'm having contractions 18 minutes apart. And I actually don't recommend that you start even timing your contractions till they get closer to 5 minutes apart. So definitely less than 10 minutes apart. Don't be timing these things because the more you ignore it, maybe it will go away, maybe it will happen. But either way, you're not going to be so focused on it. because the more you focus on super annoying things, the more annoying they get, I find. Okay, so let's say you're in prodromal labor. Is there anything you can do to jumpstart that baby going into actual labor? Now, there's a few anecdotal things. There really isn't anything that's studied. A lot of people love the Miles circuit, but some of those positions can be really painful. So if you're experiencing this and you get into the Miles circuit positions and you absolutely hate them, don't do those positions. Some of them might feel great. Remember, when you're in labor, there's 3 things that have to agree it's time to get the baby out. First off, your brain, you need to feel safe. Again, in our ancestry, we didn't want to be running from a tiger at the same time that we went into labor. They wanted to know that you were in a safe space so that you could have this baby safely. Your uterus needs to say, yep, this baby's big enough. We need to kick it out before it makes us explode. And then your baby somehow releases things that says, yep, I'm ready. Let's do this. Of course, this doesn't always work with preterm labor. I'm not saying that this is the way, but this is usually how nature gets your body to agree, yeah, it's time to have a baby. So if you do the Miles circuit and you're absolutely hating one of the positions, your brain might be saying, we're not safe, we need to stop. A lot of people also like curb walking. Remember with curb walking that you want to switch sides about every 5 minutes. So one foot is up on the curb, one foot is down on the curb. And then every 5 minutes, you're going to turn around and switch feet. My best tip is to call a friend that you would love to have a conversation with and do the curb walking. Because again, you're ignoring it, but you're also doing something that might help baby find their best way into the pelvis. And that's what a lot of these things are doing. They're kind of helping baby to find their best way into their pelvis. And then if they start to hit the cervix more, maybe the uterus will be like, yeah, get the heck out of here. This baby does not want to cooperate in getting down. This is how my babies were too. Pro tip, one of the other things that you really need to do is if you're thinking about your upcoming birth and you are really scared inside, that could be your brain turning off your labor things. I created the online prenatal class for couples to make it really easy for couples. That's right. It's to include your partner to get ready for their upcoming hospital birth. It's fast, it's inexpensive, and it's created by an expert, which are the main things that you want. In fact, you can even get the bundle that includes breastfeeding to make it a one-stop shop to get ready for your upcoming birth. Okay, is there anything else that you can do? I have a whole video on preparing your cervix, but all of those things need to start a few weeks before you have your baby. And I would totally recommend watching that whole video, but if you want the Cliff Notes, it includes sex, pumping, primrose oil, and eating dates. Studies have shown that those items can help soften your cervix to prepare it to go into labor. But again, they're not one-time things. They need to be done frequently for a few weeks to really get things going. But if you're still in the middle of your 3rd trimester, definitely check out that video. Okay, so what's the difference between prodromal labor and actual labor? Well, actual labor progresses that baby down to the birth canal so that you can deliver them. Versus prodromal labor does not do that. So ultimately, the contractions do not get stronger, they do not get closer together, they do not get longer, they just kind of hang out and then peter out, or they may even continue. Some people have infrequent, short contractions that happen for a few days, which is absolutely miserable. So if you're in that point, what should you be doing? First off, I would definitely talk with your provider. Ultimately, I decided we needed to end the prodromal labor train and get induced. That may not be right for you. It's different for everybody. I will admit that I cried for a full day before my induction because I really didn't want it, but I felt like it was really the only way out and safest for me and my baby because of risk factors that I had. Now, let me give you 2 pro tips for early labor at home. The 2 things you want to focus on are eating. I'm not talking like a giant burrito. I'm talking snacks every 2 to 3 hours to make sure that you're fueling your body, and move. Now, sleep definitely comes in there. Some people are able to sleep. Some people are not able to sleep. If you are able to sleep, definitely get the sleep because that fuels your tank. But when you're not sleeping, make sure that you're moving about every 30 minutes into a different position. Now, lunges and squats can be absolutely great, rotating those hips on the labor ball, but you may just want to lay in your bed. And if that's you, still switch sides, put something between your legs. Just make sure that you're moving about every 30 minutes. And I think this is a great thing that your partner can help you do. They can come help you reposition, move those pillows, and it's a great thing for them to do because they're probably feeling nervous watching you go through this as well. By the way, if you want more tips for partners, come join the online prenatal class for couples. Because guys, you want a teammate, not just a cheerleader. Okay, let me give you 3 tips if this is you and you're like, Hilary, this video didn't help me out at all. Number 1, don't get frustrated with your body. Remember that doing this is really normal. People don't talk about it all the time, but it is normal and it is very annoying. Number 2, if you are just miserable, please talk with your provider. Tell them what's going on with you. It may not actually be contractions. It might be something else. Sometimes things like this can happen if you have a UTI, so they could check your urine and see if that could possibly be it. Or if it just keeps happening, you're past 39 weeks, you may choose to have an elective induction. So make sure that you're talking with your provider about what you're experiencing during your pregnancy. And number 3, be kind to yourself. As I've said 600 times, this is super annoying. It is very miserable. You keep thinking it's starting, it gets your emotions high, and then it stops and everything drops. And so I very much understand it, and I want to make sure that you're being kind to yourself. Now, contractions are not the only sign of early labor. Come join me in here where I have all the different early signs of labor that you can be watching for.